Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. If you will get a Bible and go with me to the 139th Psalm. We'll be starting in verse 13 today. And as you're doing that, if you'd like and share the post or make a comment, something along those lines, it'll help, again, help others to see the post. And I'd appreciate that. And then we will begin looking at this Psalm of David. This is one of, again, the most popular Psalms. People love this Psalm. Quite a few quotable um, verses in the Psalm. And David is simply expressing his desire for purity, a desire to be clean, a desire to for God to search him, to know him. Um, and in this particular section we're going to look at today, um, I think there's several things kind of going on here. One is that David is acknowledging God's right to do that, in that God was his creator, that God had created him, and he is acknowledging that. He is grateful for that, and recognizes again that by being God's creation, God has a special interest in who we are. And so in verse 13, he says, "Thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb." And so he is acknowledging God at work all the way back to his formation. You possessed me, um, and just means that another word is purchased. I am yours. My life is yours. You own me. You control me. Therefore, I want to be a righteous servant of yours. When you possessed my reins, the reins. I think when we hear reins, we think about the straps or whatever that on a horse. That you would direct a horse with, but here it's talking about your his inward parts, his organs. Lord, you possess all of me. You have covered me. You have protected me. And so all these things David is saying is again just expressing the thought, Lord, you have owned all of me all along. I am your creation. You have created me, gave me breath, and so I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being imperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned when as yet there was none of them. And David is describing here his creation and how amazing the creation of the human body is. That he was, that he is made lovingly, fearfully, that he was made especially by God, made wonderfully. He's looked over us again. He says again from our creation, from our mother's womb, he has been looking over our life and bringing all the events of our life, all the parts of our body, bringing it all together in for a purpose, that you've been involved. David is just saying in different ways, and saying it much more beautifully than I am. But again, he's saying God's been involved in all of me always. From the very beginning, I have been on God's mind. I have been in His thoughts, in His plans from the very beginning. Verse 17, how precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God. How great is the sum of them. If I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you. And so again, David has went from saying, God, you've been with me since my creation, all the way back to my mother's womb, still today. You're still thinking about me. Your thoughts for me. Verse 17, he's saying, God, you have a purpose and a plan for my life. You love me so much that you have thought all this through, and you have arranged this, and you've had more thoughts about me in verse 18 than there are grains of sand. He says that's how important I am to God. When I awake, I'm still with you. So every night I go to bed and I'm on your mind. Every morning when I wake up, you are still present with me. And I hope these verses are a real encouragement to you today. And somebody watching today may need to hear those words. That God has a purpose and a plan for every human being. It bothers me sometimes, and I'm sure you've heard this. People will talk about a child and say, that child, you have, a lot of times you'll see somebody with, some children, maybe they have two or three children, 16, 17 years old, and they got one that's a baby. And you'll hear them say something about that one being an accident. No accidents. God has a plan and a purpose for every life He has created. You were made especially for Him, to have a relationship with Him. You were made in His image. You were on His mind from the day of your inception to today. From conception to right now, you have been part of His plan, and you were on His mind. He's thinking about you. He has a plan for you. He has a will for you. And so I just hope that's an encouragement for somebody today. And then we'll close with this thought. Because God has a plan for your life, because He has a will for your life, then we seek that will and we do that will. And so I hope you spend today thinking about the fact that you are part of God's plan, and how can you find that plan and be part of that plan. All right, you have a great day, and we will see you here tomorrow morning.